Number 13 says, which set of statements would not be used to complete the proof? What I see is we have a given set of given statements and proof statements. So before we even look at what they've given to us over here, we're going to go ahead and set up our own proof. Alright, so number 1, we've been given that AD, segment AD, is congruent to segment CD. So AD is congruent to segment CD. And we've also been told that segment BD is perpendicular to segment AC. That's all given. Now they've marked that for me, that BD is perpendicular to AC. Well, what that results in, if we've got those perpendicular lines give me right angles. So let's look at the right angles we have. We can say angle ADB and angle CDB are right angles because perpendicular lines, they form right angles. Okay? So now we've got two right angles here, and now what we know about right angles is that all right angles are 90 degrees, which means all right angles are congruent. So I could say angle ADB is congruent to angle CDB because all right angles are congruent. So that means I've marked these, and I'm trying to get to A and C are being congruent, which means I'm probably going to need to use CP/CTC. But before I can do that, I need to prove these triangles are congruent. I've got a side and an angle, so I can grab this last side here. I can say that BD, segment BD, is congruent to itself. That is known as the reflexive property. So this is congruent to itself. So now I could finally say that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD, and the reason would be SAS congruence, because we had side, angle, side. It's important to use the congruent symbol so we know we're talking about congruent triangles and not similar triangles. And then my number 6 step, I could finally say angle A is congruent to angle C, and the reason would be CP/CTC. So that's the full proof. Let's see what they've given to us. They've said that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD, that's true here, by HL congruence. We didn't use that, so likely this is not the correct answer. If you're going to use HL congruence, HL means hypotenuse leg. It means that you've proven you have a right triangle, which we can go back and do if we need to. But it also means that we've proven that both the hypotenuses are congruent and the legs. We have enough information for the legs, but not the hypotenuses, so that's really not going to be very possible. Let's keep reading on. Did we use the statement, angle A is congruent to angle C? Yeah, it's right here, and we used it by CP/CTC. Did we use the statement that angle ADB and angle CDB were right angles because we had perpendicular lines form right angles? Yeah, that statement's right here. We used that one. Did we use the statement BD is congruent to BD by the reflexive property? It's right here in our proof. So there you see we've used these three things. If they had only said that this was SAS congruent, that statement would have been true. But we definitely did not prove those two triangles were congruent by HL. So there's our answer choice for number 13.